There's too many timelines at once.
Bro, some of it moves in reverse while it's going forward. So like one character might be moving forward in normal, like just normal, and then people around him will be moving in reverse. Or there'll be fight scenes in... Bro, it's so crazy to even explain. It's like they tried to take the Matrix and then just make it even more like madder, basically.
No, I think it was too much. I think it was overkill.
Too much for no reason.
Bro. That movie was overkill, bro.
Yeah, it was a bit mad still.
Really?
You're going to have to come a bit forward. I know it's not the most comfortable. Sorry, G. So what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Double Down Podcast. It's a podcast where we like to double down on our opinions. Nic Dream, Craig, Mitch. Yes. You've heard his voice. I don't even need to tell you who it is, but I'm going to tell you anyway, just in case there's someone that's been living under the rock or a rock.
Under D-Rock. Don't want to live under him.
Imagine living under Dwayne Johnson. That would be mad.
Uncomfortable.
Exactly. Shout out to David Vujanic. It's Vujanic, isn't it? I feel like Vujanic. For years, Vujanic. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
I used to mispronounce it myself, to be fair, just to fit in. It was easier.
Yeah. I think because when you abbreviate
when teachers say,
Vujanic, I'm like, that's the one.
When you abbreviate it's Vuj with a J, isn't it? But when you pronounce it, it's like a Y, Vujanic.
Because the J is a Y. It's like, like Sweden, Ljungberg. Like
okay.
So it'll be Vujanic, but
man just called you Vuj.
Foreigner struggles, innit? So
I hear that.
I got used to it. But Vuj, I just go by Vuj now, innit?
Let's go way back to that, man. Like, I want to make this a general chat. We're gonna get into this general chats, but obviously I want to talk a bit about you because you're someone I really respect, someone that's been doing this thing for time.
Appreciate that.
And I don't think people that followed your journey will know, but people that dip in and out might not really know about your early start of life, Serbia and that part of your life. And you've been vocal about what you've seen in bits and pieces on different platforms, but what was the early part of your life actually like?
I was born during the Yugoslav war.
Okay.
So 91 to 95, I was born in 92. So the war was like pretty much heavily on. I was born in Croatia.
Okay.
Yeah. Back then it was, I don't even know what it was, to be honest, innit? I don't like to go overly into the politics because I think I don't really pick sides, and I was a kid, innit? So
of course,
if it was down to me, it would have been none of that, innit? But I was born in like the ethnically predominantly Serbian place in Croatia. And then, but the war was just all kicking off, and I think they were trying to separate because Croatia was becoming independent of Yugoslavia. But there was a operation, Croatian army operation, and the Serbian population just decided to flee. So me and my family fled where we were from.
Do you have any early memories of that?
A little bit, yeah.
Fleeing and stuff.
You know what? Like a little bit. They say, what is it? When you're born to 6 years old, you're only intaking information.
Okay.
You're not
I didn't know that.
As a person, it's like you're only whatever's in your environment. You're just sort of soaking everything in. Your subconscious is soaking things in. So there's a few things I remember. But I only found out like maybe like 5 years ago. Because I remember once I think I just woke up and it was really weird. It was like, you see how you got these like blinds in it.
Yeah.
I just remember waking up one time and just feeling like something's off.
So
I think I was like 3 years old.
It.
I just remember waking up and like looking out the blinds, the curtains.
Yeah.
See some light, and it was really grey, and something felt off in it. I was like, right, something's weird. Something's going. I don't know what,
but something's
2 years
happening.
Old, 3 years old. I remember something's off in it, and then I remember being in like on my grandma's lap in some dark room. But I think that was a shelter.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I remember just at one point going through some like woodlands, just like through some woods, being driven away in a car.
Yeah.
And that's all I really remember. And then we moved to Serbia, to Belgrade. And then in 1998, I came to the UK with my family. Well, my dad came earlier, and then me and my mum followed.
Did you come straight to North Wheezy?
Nah, bro.
Oh, you didn't come to North Wheezy?
No. I stayed... Fucking hell, bruv. Can you swear on this?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. I've
I've
moved like 13 times in my life.
Oh,
wow.
shit.
13. So
all around London
two
or
countries
the UK?
And then 13 times in London.
That's it. Wow.
So when I first came here, we stayed in like a basement flat in Bayswater.
Okay.
Yeah.
My dad was obviously working, like we're trying to get asylum in the UK. So that took like 5 years.
Oh,
so
wow.
we came as like asylum seekers.
Yeah.
And then we lived there, and then we lived in like a bedsit in Kilburn, and then a bedsit type hostel in Acton.
Okay.
And then
So it was a lot of northwest.
It was northwest mainly.
Okay.
So northwest is like predominantly where I spent a lot of my time.
Yeah.
And then it was like Edgware Road, and then Willesden as well.
Okay.
And then after that, my dad bought a place. We bought a place in Crookwood.
Nice.
But then my parents divorced a few years ago, 2014, 15, and then it started again, the cycle.
Okay.
So then we started, then
moving around.
My mum and my
Yeah.
sister,
Yeah.
I kind of became the main.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
Provider,
You're basically a Northwest legend then.
I say Northwest, yeah.
North
I live in
Wheezy.
North now.
You're up there with the greats in Northwest.
I live in Tottenham, but Northwest is where,
Is where
dominantly influeed a lot of who I
course.
am as a human being.
Who are the greats from Northwest?
it's just the usuals, isn't it? The
Fleur de
Cokes, Fleur de Nines, like all of these
Raheem
sorts
Sterling.
of people. Raheem Sterling has to be in there. Chunks now.
Chunks, yeah.
Chunks is in there now. Like there's Vuj, there's greats. Northwest has produced
Northwest
greats.
is cool,
Yeah.
man. I
They've
love
done their
Northwest.
thing, man. They've done their thing. Shout out to Critical as well, my boy Critical, man. Early roots
Yeah.
in Mitch and Suave and that. And then obviously, when did you like pick up your passion for YouTube, bro? Because it's like you're now an OG in it. Like you're one of the original YouTubers.
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
just started your
exactly.
channel like 10 years ago, bro. It's like you're a decade in.
Yeah, it's mad, bro.
What made you think? Because even when I look at that first video of you just like daggering a teddy just in your room, was that at uni or in your actual bedroom?
Nah, my room.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So like even looking at that and just looking at you back then, you just had this like, I don't know what it was. It was just like this fresh, young, creative energy
I had so
that you were
much
just trying to
energy,
let
bro.
out.
Yeah.
So much
You
energy.
used to dance bare. You
Bare,
don't really
bro.
dance that much anymore.
Calm down a lot, bruv.
But you've got that natural rhythm though.
Dude, I love dancing. Don't get me wrong. I love dancing.
So why don't you
for the
just
camera.
dance on camera then, like you used to?
Can't be
Wes?
arsed, bro.
Yeah, I know. You
I
must.
feel
yeah.
like, when I started YouTube, there was no money involved.
Yeah.
There was no ads. It was literally just a platform to put videos on. So I think it only attracted people that genuinely just
Wanted to make content.
create things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I started. I just had so many ideas. And I remember watching that Lonely Island. Do you remember Lonely Island?
that-
Yeah,
Were they
I
like a
remember.
duo?
Yeah.
Shadrach and Amandem, obviously UK wise, like Jazzy, a few of these people, and I was like, "Raw, this is so sick! I'd love to have my own mad ideas in my head. How can I put some of this out?" And then but I just started making videos. I ended up going on a. I love telling this story. I was I was in sixth form. So when I went to school in Capital City Academy, which was the first academy in the UK.
Okay. Where's that? What area is that?
Northwest.
Okay.
Willesden. It used to be Willesden High School.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
like, it's branded one of the worst schools in
Oh, wow.
the UK.
Really?
or London.
Worse than what was the one in Cricklewood? Whitefield.
Yeah, worse.
Worse than Whitefield. I heard Whitefield was like
It
for
was the
excluding
first.
students.
Think about it. Oh, maybe Whitefield
There's
is worse.
worse.
I don't know,
Okay.
innit? I can't obviously confirm, but I know it was given obviously the first academy status.
Okay, yeah,
Because
yeah,
then they tore the school down and built a new one. It's a beautiful school. I had a great time there, man. I loved it.
Wait, what is an academy status? Just to clarify.
It's like the government, I think, basically
bare academies,
highlights.
Yeah, I don't know what the
schools
difference
which
is.
are underperforming, and in areas which maybe are less. What do you call it?
Privileged.
Less
Fortunate,
privileged,
yeah.
less fortunate.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's in Brent. Brent is one of the more poor
course, yeah.
boroughs in London. So I think that was it. Like the Labour government at that point was Tony Blair, and then they picked that school to rebuild. And
Okay.
it's about
Yeah.
rebuilding the school, giving kids more opportunities. It became like a sports specialist school. Had like a astro pitch, and it was brand new
Fresh
glass
everything,
everywhere.
yeah.
It was crazy.
Slightly gentrifying.
Basically,
Yeah.
basically. But the kids that were in there weren't gentrified. It was
course,
still the
of course,
same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
new
It was nice.
facilities and
So I was the first
Upgrade. Nice.
I was
upgrade.
year 7, so when I came into that school, I was the first year that was actually fresh in that school. All the
Yeah.
other kids was in high school. They
Yeah.
just shifted school. So that's what an academy is, what I think anyway, what an academy is. But that's where a lot of my ideas came from and a lot of influence of my life there, because it was predominantly Jamaican, predominantly like Caribbean and African students, but also a lot of Asian students, Somali students.
Do you think growing up around those ethnicities and those cultures is what kind of not helped you, but made you more
extremely.
expressive dancing as well?
No, because that's what I picked up, I'd say.
In the raves and that.
I like dancing previously as well.
got the rhythm from.
It was, but I remember we had it just, what did we do again? It was that's when I think I really picked up and became a fan of dancehall.
Because in all your early content, there's a lot of daggering, whining.
Yeah.
And then obviously you did that video, went viral, White Boy was on
I
top.
was onto a video as well. That was obviously more the African influence. But I'd say the Caribbean culture definitely bruv, it was huge for me. And I think when you're in school as well, like you're not really privy to like society's problems. You're more just like in school.
You're in your own world.
Yeah, you're
We're all
with your
doing our
friends.
thing,
Yeah.
and then like someone, I don't know, I think back then like Dirty Wine was big, and like Willy Bounce
Massive.
and like Chaka
Yeah.
Chaka and all these dances.
Man, like Tony Matterhorn.
Yeah,
Tony Matterhorn,
what
yeah.
Remember
happened to
Tony
him?
Matterhorn? What happened to Tony Matterhorn?
You know.
It was mad.
What happened to him,
Yeah,
Tony?
old school.
That is mad.
But then like, yeah, and then I remember like all the kids were dancing and stuff, and then like I'd start dancing and they'd be like, "Raw, like oh you can dance, da da da," like oh sick, and then that kind of connected us all. I feel it was like an icebreaker almost, where like and then I was a bit of a class clown as well.
The thing is, even if you're a class clown or you're kind of like different or seen as like, I don't know, peculiar or weird, once you can dance,
Yeah,
you're
it breaks
automatically
barriers,
cool.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're just cool though, automatically, because like, I don't mean like the body popping dancing, like that's corny.
that's
Do you know what I
corny.
mean? Unless you're
In the
Chris
middle of the
Brown,
dance
or,
floor, just
yeah, that's
crumping.
dead. But if
Yeah.
you've got rhythm, like you can
Rhythm,
hold a
yeah.
wine, you can do the, like you said, the bashment dances,
Yeah.
the Afrobeat
It's
dances.
appealing, yeah.
Come on.
But then it was like predominantly.
And you're white, like that's like,
Yeah.
wow, that's lit, that's intriguing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, predominantly then it was bashment. Back then, I don't even think Afrobeats really was a thing. I was like 2000.
Yeah, Afrobeats wasn't popping then.
Talking about
Yeah.
2003 to 2008 is when I spent my time in that school.
Yeah.
And it was, bruv, that's how I think we connected, and we broke barriers, and I just kind of became that guy in school who was just like a clown. He's funny, and I was just cool with everyone. So, yeah,
But
man.
how
I
did
really
you
enjoyed
translate that
time.
onto YouTube and filming? Because anyone can just do it in a classroom. Do you get what I'm saying? But when it comes to actually creating content and having the confidence to do that,
Yeah.
that's something you just had early on.
Yeah, I think it was my way to express myself and maybe just to fit in as well. Because, we're all, I think, as kids trying to fit in, even as adults, we're trying to fit into the world. And
Would you say it was a sense of escapism as well?
potentially as well, like survival, escapism. Like, it's, at the end of the day, it wasn't like a good school, innit? There were like definitely some kids you got to stay away from.
Yeah.
But if you're funny, I feel like that connect
You get a pass.
Always.
Yeah, you
the
get a
maddest
pass,
done
don't
in
you?
school. If you're funny, like I remember even one time, bro, I've so many moments where like I just nothing's ever happened to me because like I've just been funny. I'm just,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they feel that you're not. I don't know. Like I'm not.
You can't
a victim,
harm
innit?
that
But
Yeah,
you can't.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I've
good
been trying to
energy, yeah.
mess with that. I don't know. It was a weird one. But I remember even in school, like so you used to like punch people he used to just punch people in the arm for no reason. You know them brothers. Like,
Yeah.
But never
psychopaths.
punched you, innit?
Debo, the
No,
Debo
one guy was
guys.
like, he punched someone else, and then he was like, you're cool. I was like, yeah, safe.
There was always that
Yeah,
in school
right.
though.
Yeah,
You'd always
yeah,
see a man that was
it's
just
like,
like,
just anti.
I don't know what it was. Like
There's a
some,
few people in school, bro.
yeah.
Yeah, we had a few though. It's just the bullies, innit?
Yeah, the bullies in school as
Yeah.
well.
Bullies
everyone
in school.
did.
But then again, I think, when you analyze it from a maybe different perspective, a lot of kids that probably are bullies are just copying things that they're seeing at home.
Yeah.
They're probably very traumatized children and people and grow up to be maybe aggressive and traumatized because they don't deal with their things. So you can't, you've got to maybe look at it from that angle too. Obviously, when you're a kid, you don't know. You're just trying to run up, stay away from them.
Yeah.
But, you learn how to, I guess, operate when you're in school, like an environment like that where there are troublesome kids and you don't want to get hurt. So you just, you learn how to move and you learn to read energy and you become very aware of your environment, especially coming from a war zone as well. You're hyper aware. So I think I've always had that sort of awareness of my environment.
When did you first become, when did you first go on your radar? Become aware of it? Do you know?
I think for me, it might have been the Cheeky Nando's.
Cheeky Nando's.
Cheeky Nando's, okay, that was way
What
back.
era was that? That was
2015
like
maybe?
2015.
Okay,
that
about
might have
5
been the
years ago,
time.
yeah.
15, 16.
Man, I forgot about Cheeky Nando's.
Yeah, man.
I think
But I've
that
done
went
so many
viral.
random-
I
You've done
remember,
so
yeah.
many.
But that's when I think, as I said, like there was no ads back then.
Yeah.
It was much more creative, and I'd say for myself, I lean more towards like pure just I want to be a creator.
Yeah.
I just want to put stuff out which connects with me, and then that's why I think I always struggle to just like do YouTube like full time because like I don't just want to do things that I don't feel connected.
Yeah.
A lot of
rate-
YouTubers are just putting things
I
out
rate people
to
though
stay
that
consistent.
do that. Like KSI or True Geordie, all these YouTubers that just kind of kept doing their thing. They made huge businesses out of it. I do respect that. I think that's a talent to be able to even do that and stay disciplined. Whereas for me, it was always more of just like a place to express myself.
It just didn't feel organic.
And when I started like vlogging a couple of times, people were like, yeah, you should vlog. Like do consistent shit. I was like, oh. Like,
Did it just not feel right?
like a chore.
vlogging?
Yeah, but I hate vlogging. Because I'm there and I'm walking around. I'm like, hey guys. Whoa.
You've done some good ones though.
You've done a couple
Even
decent
the ones
ones.
you used to do with Copper and stuff. Like,
Those were good because when I was at Copa 90, we had a cameraman filming us most of the time. So it's more like
So that's
just be
different,
myself.
And
I
he
don't
can
know.
document it.
whether this instead of the selfie
I don't
kind
like
of
the
holding
vlogging
it,
thing.
it gets jarring, and everyone just kind of looks at you and stuff.
Yeah.
It's mad. I want to fast forward though, man. We'll fast forward to like Copa 90 and like that whole journey? Because obviously, like you said early on, there was kind of like an alumni of people that just wanted to create, right? So early on, I feel like on the comedy sector, like you said, it was like you, Don't Jealous Me, Jazzy, like A Squeezy. There was a certain kind of alumni of creators online. Obviously, you had like me and Poet as well. We were doing nothing, but our thing wasn't comedy. It was more just kind of to the side. Poet was doing That's a Rap. I was working with Poet, That's a Rap, doing Mitch and Suave. But I agree with you. Back then, it was just about creating. It wasn't this business that's kind of just come into the industry.
It was organic.
Yeah, it was just like we're doing this because
it was organic.
Organic.
That was a key word for me. Yeah. Even growing up, I was like, I want to keep it organic and I want to be myself, and I don't want to put out stuff which doesn't feel like I'm doing it that I want to do it, you know?
Well, things changed. Obviously, YouTube changed, but things massively changed for you when you joined Copa 90.
Yeah.
And obviously, like you and Poet did Comments Below, which was a sick show. Obviously, it's Comments Under now. FIFA and Chill. What else did you do?
A few other things. Just having them just going out and about and
traveling the world, doing tournaments, World Cups in Brazil.
Nah, but very grateful for that time, bruv. It was incredible. Honestly, incredible time.
What did you learn from that time, man? Like looking back on it. What's the most important lessons like you probably learned from that whole Copa 90 period of your life?
I'd say follow your gut and speak up.
Wow.
I think follow your gut and speak up is a huge
break
thing.
that down.
Following your gut. So I've been a man that always sort of, maybe not so much, and I've had some maybe troubles with it in the last 3-4 years, but when I was young, I'd always just follow what felt right.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to explain that feeling, but I think maybe it's intuition. I'd be like, that video would bang because this, but I want to put it out. I'll do it, you know, or even a Copa 90, FIFA, that'd be good. They need a new interview format. Cool. Let me come up. I came up with a FIFA and Chill idea. That will work because we'll have like comments, and then like the footballer will be able to be comfortable. We can like be the first people to make footballers comfortable, and because these football interviews that did it. So it's always like intuition thing, and then you might have people with, because it's a company at the end of the day, and it's a structure. And for me, I never really understood structure. I was always like, well,
you just wanted to create.
This shit works. Like, why are you telling me this doesn't, or why are you now telling me we've got to do it that way? There's too many people. There's too many layers, and then obviously there's brands, and then these men are all communicating, and you're almost at the bottom as just a creator.
Basically,
but you can sort of, because you're learned to DIY, do it yourself kind of mentality. You see through the bullshit. So you're like, well, no, bro, that's bullshit. Let's just do it this way. Or you've seen this works. Why are you changing it now? Because they want to make money for the company. So the politics gets involved. And then I think if you don't speak up in those environments, and you don't, when I stopped speaking up, that's when shit started going downhill. Because we had always like
downhill in what
not
sense,
downhill, but like within Copa 90 there was always like the internal dialogues, and I think naturally you have discussions which might get a bit fiery and stuff because you care about your product and how you look on camera. But I think at one point when my pay got increased at one point, and I just realized, I don't know, I think there was so much happening in my private life as well that I was like, I can't be asked to argue with these men anymore. Let me just take the check and like whatever, innit?
So do you feel like you compromised a bit?
100%. So compromise, I think, it's essential not to compromise your true self and your true beliefs.
Yeah.
So I started compromising, and I think when you begin compromising, it's tough because you know what works, and then when you're compromising your character, you're basically compromising your integrity. And I think that's a painful process to go through, especially if you're a creative, because you know what you want to do, but I lost the energy to like battle these people. Or like, you know, enter discussion and argument. I was like, bruv, I can't be bothered with these loans.
Do you know what?
Let me just get my money and just whatever, innit?
Moving,
I've got a story, right? So, and it was kind of on the compromising thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say the club, but I worked with a club, right? And
who's the club?
Basically, I'm not going to say, man, we'll just keep it there. But I worked with a football club, and basically they got me to work with this artist, right?
Got you.
And they
As
said,
a musician.
A musician.
Yeah.
A football club got me to work with a musician. And they basically said, you're going to do all of this, that, and the third. And at the end of the day, he wants to, it's just a funny little joke thing, but they said this the night before the shoot. So I've already signed up for the shoot. Yeah, you're going to do this for the artist, whatever. And then the night before the shoot, I'm sure you've had this where they've tried to slide something in last minute so that you can't back out. Literally the night before, and the shoot's the next morning. At the end of the shoot and everything, they want this funny thing where he wants to put pie in your face. Do you remember this?
Allow it, my bro.
So I was like, so I hit them back. So I was so dumbfounded by it. I was like, wait, what?
I remember you telling me this.
So I messaged them back and I was like, I sent them an email. I said, literally, this is all I said. I said, no, full stop. I didn't explain. I just said no. So the producer comes back to me like, No, would you like what? You don't want to do it. It should be fun. Like it will be a laugh. Like he does this all the time. Like
hate them.
And then I was like,
not hate them. I just like them.
Do you think I'm going to go on your club's platform and get a pie in my face?
And you told me last second.
This is not happening. This is going to be clipped on YouTube. You see this as a moment that's funny or whatever. And I see this as this can come back in 10, 20 years. That's how I'm looking at things. It's like I'm not doing it. Next day, I get there. It's all awkward. We're shooting. One other guy comes up to me. Oh, you sure you don't want to do that? Do the pie thing? Move. Well, I'm not doing the pie. End of the day, towards the end of the shoot. Do you know, it'd be funny, like, if we, like, kind of... Honestly, I think, because I didn't work with them again after this, and there could be loads of different reasons why I didn't work with them, but after this, I was like, oh, I'm not...
I don't want to get pied.
I lost my temper. I was like, I'm not...
What did the artist say?
Like, what are you talking about? No, he went in there, like, they were doing it away from him. They didn't want him to see the conversation. Bearing in mind, and some people may be able to connect the dots, and if you can, whatever, about the artist and what club it is, but some people got to understand that. See the artist himself, by the way, he does this. That's her thing. He pies people. That's his thing. It wasn't like,
but it's not your thing, so.
But it's not exactly.
It's not my thing, yeah.
So, and that was one of those moments where some people in that scenario may have compromised because of the money or whatever. Because if it literally came down to pie or you're not doing it, I wasn't going to do it. Like, that's where I was.
Dangerous,
bro. And then do you know what it gave me? Kind of memories of, and it kind of like raised the hairs on my skin. Of when Dave Chappelle sat down and said how they tried to make him wear a dress.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah. You know how they said they make him wear a dress?
Yeah, and he said no.
And then they sent the producer in wear a dress, sent the director in wear a dress. He's like, I'm not wearing a dress. They sent like 5 people, he said, into his trailer to get him to wear this dress. Remember, he walked in the trailer and he just had a dress hanging up. And he was like, what? Like last minute, we got this whole thing.
Dead.
And in the moment he really shut it down after like 6 people telling him to do it, he turned, they came out and said, oh, all right then. And they came back 20 minutes later and the original set was there somehow after 20 minutes. Like, so they were kind of just trying to, and I kind of felt like that. I felt like, I don't want to take it to race. I don't want to make it about anything like that. Because I know Dave Chappelle was alluding to that, like black men wearing a dress. But I did feel like, are you trying to, I don't know, make me look like an idiot or a clown?
I think the thing in life that as soon as someone thinks they're paying, as soon as someo's paying you, they think they've got ownership.
Or they can make a mockery of you. Yeah.
It's like, you're just giving me a check. That doesn't mean I'm going to sacrifice my morals and my beliefs.
Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you had to compromise or you did compromise?
I wouldn't say me, because I'm not like in front of the camera like you lot. But
it could just be a life thing.
No, but I've seen it on the other side. But because I'm a producer, I see another side where we're working with talent, and then you kind of tell them in the meeting, or you tell them beforehand, like, oh, we want you to do this. Or I remember I didn't work in it, but a colleague of mine was producing a commercial of Conor McGregor, and the whole ad, it was like him in Ireland, and then it's him in like LA, and then it's like how he's made it. And I think the whole time he was training for a fight, and he had the hairstyle one way. And then they shot a bit of it, and I think they had to pause. So half of the commercial, he had this hair, and they like, look, Conor, it's in your contract. You've got to keep your hair like this. You've got to keep your hair. And then I think basically, long story short, he turned around and said, I can do what the fuck I want. And he just shaved his hair. He just shaved his hair completely off. And I think he's at that level. It made me just realize, once you get to a level where you can do it, these people, they can threat you and they can say, oh, we can pull this, it's in your contract. But really and truly, they're not going to do anything, are they? Do you know how many
times footballers we've worked haven't shown up for shoots, even though they're contractually obliged to come do the shoot for a brand? They haven't showed up, or even for the club will get fined if the player doesn't do it, or a player doesn't do it. They still won't do it.
But and I think the story is that I just don't like the way it works, that if someone's got a certain status, you will allow it, when really you should treat everyone the same.
Of course, but that's just not, I guess that's not how it works in these
society
social hierarchies, isn't it?
Status, fame, power, control.
I think when you're not from that world as well, because I'm not from that world, I'm just not from that world.
So you see things in the black and white, just I
just see it as like, that's wrong, that's right. That's it.
Same. It's a murky world. It's just like,
it's murky.
That's proper murky.
That's the word. It's murky.
No Stormzy. So how? Because I know you're, like you said, you're a person that works on things being organic. You're a pure creator. You go off vibes, energy. How conflicted was it for you working in this industry?
Extremely.
Because this industry is like,
hey brother,
how
totally
describe the level of conflict?
Extreme conflict, bro.
Really?
Extreme conflict internally. Because bro, like, I totally understand why people turn to drugs, drink, and take their lives.
Yeah.
Definitely understand that.
Yeah.
Because it's like soul destroying, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, especially, you know, because creatives, I think a lot of the time they're coming from places of potentially trauma and lack of expression. They've gone through something, and creativity becomes your outlet to do something. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's you're trying to get validation, or you want to put something out there to connect with people because maybe you're struggling somewhere else. And I think a lot of creators have that.
They say that about comedians a lot as well, don't they?
Yeah,
they say a lot of comedians like they like to make people laugh, maybe because we look at the likes of like
100%.
Robin Williams or maybe Jim Carrey, and you see what
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
I think the class clown thing kind of worked for me a lot. I was that sort of character because it did make me feel good.
It deflected, and
you know, I think it's a great way to deal with pain. But of course, when you enter a world of corporations and brands and money, they don't care about what you've been through, bro.
Of course.
What the fuck am I trying to get the money? Whatever, they'll do whatever to get the money.
It's commercialized. It's to make
So
some bread.
they'll manipulate you. They'll do what they need to do to get you on board, to do what they need for them, so it's easier for them. And remember, these people as well, they've got their own lives going on, and when they come in, they just got a role. I've got to fulfill this role. Here's my email. I want to make this guy happy. If this guy at the bottom isn't that happy, or he'll be fine. Do you know what I mean? It's like they brush you off.
Yeah.
So you have to always keep on your toes and challenging and be, I don't want to say confrontational, but you do have to do that, I think, in these environments when you enter them. And if you don't, you will get stood over and brushed aside and ignored. And then you can't even complain. Do you know what I mean? It's like, these things don't care about feelings, bro. You really have to go there and express. So I did that for a while. It was going really well. And then after a while, I just stopped caring. Yeah.
But why do you think that was? Why?
Just a lot happening in my life. Obviously, my parents are divorcing. That was quite tough.
Yeah.
So I had to move house again, and I was like, bruv, just when shit was settled, and then I had a relationship breakdown as well. And when all of that is happening, then you got to be on camera and be entertaining. That's the least thing I want to do. Is go on camera and be like, hey guys, football, ha ha ha, and then you go out and you're like, oh. So that's what I mean. The people behind the camera don't have those, I think, pressures on them. Yeah. And I think the world of being known and putting yourself out there is an extremely tough world, especially now in this day and age. So I really do, I can understand why it's tough for people in front of camera. I think they're humans as well. Everyone's a human. Word. But you're exposed to, negativity, positivity. You've got to have a really strong maybe ego, or you've got a strong wall even to block all that out, innit? So
and even the things that have kind of, because remember, even if you do what you do and you're going through your own internal battles or things going on in your life, which everyone has, you've also got to kind of contend with the fact that the environment externally around you is changing as all well. All the time, bro. So even not just in the world, but even in the industry or social media or whatever. Like, look how social media has changed from when we jumped on YouTube 10 years ago or whatever we were doing till now. Like, business has infiltrated those places as well. Twitter wasn't what it was then. Like, Twitter now is like just a place for people to just
like, it's become like politics, maybe. I feel
it is so political.
Before it wasn't. I think it was
social issues and politics.
It was it's a place full of clowns and just people being silly, whatever. And then I think now it's like become very political. Which is funny, but what can you do, bro? That's just the society's evolving that way, and it's like we evolve as human beings as well. So I think that's the struggle of being on camera, is that you're evolving every day as well. So what might have worked before. And what
so why are people ignoring that evolution then? Like, why do people act like there isn't a process in life to grow, evolve, learn?
In what respect?
Let's take it to cancel culture, for example. They people looking at things from years ago and thinking to themselves, well, that person has to be the same person today. Yeah. But that even just in life, that doesn't make sense, because I'm not the same person I was or you are a year ago, because you've learned things and experienced things.
But I think it's a double-edged sword there, because I get that, but at the same time, I do think something goes with putting out yourself out there. Yeah. So it's in like, if we all said something, just us three, cameras off, mics off, had our own views, then I don't think the cancel culture, you can't really cancel what someone's saying in private, but as soon as you step in that realm of going on Twitter or going on social media, then you run the risk of it could come back in 5 to 10, 20.
Today, I completely understand that. Even 3-4 years ago, I understand that.
But back then,
when we joined Twitter,
it's true,
it was a completely different platform. Instagram was a different platform. Instagram never had stories. The internet's a popularity contest. First and foremost, it's a popularity contest. Like someone that's super popular could say something that a lot of people hate, and it won't even be received the same. But it could be the exact same information, even delivered in the same tone. It could be. If you're way more likable, then it just is what it is, isn't it? Like that's the world, to be honest. But my whole thing is that, like, for creators, I just think we're living in a time where, first of all, the internet. We've grown up with the internet. Like, commercially, the internet's been available since, I don't know, in homes since like 95 or 94 or something, when Windows came out. And back then, we didn't know where it was going or what it was going to be. There was no YouTube. Then YouTube's come along, social media's come along. All these things have kind of evolved, and we're growing with it. We're kind of experimenting and finding out where it's going while it's happening. In 100 years from now, who knows what it's going to look like? But a lot of it would have been tried and tested, unless it's still continually evolving. But I just find it interesting that we're living in a stage now where creators have to kind of, like you said, deal with whatever they're dealing with, but still kind of evolve with the environment that's changing around you. That makes it very difficult.
For sure, I think it's very challenging, extremely challenging times.
And it becomes just business then, because it's like you've got to evolve to stay relevant, to stay current.
That's why I don't make so many videos, because I just don't particularly. I think I've really ticked all the boxes I wanted to tick.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I wanted 1 million views, and I got 1 million views, and I got 3 million views on that video, and then it was like, I want 100
got the plaque.
I got the plaque. Cool. What? I can aim for 1 million now, but it's like whenever it's funny, because even when I was like making bricka videos, it was so weird. Like, I'd have first couple, I was like, yeah, this is jokes, it's fun, and then someone was like, what's the next one? And
you're like, shit.
I was like, I didn't plan for the next video. Like, I'm just
doing it as it goes along. Yeah.
And then people would like ask me like, yeah, but you know, someone else might come along and take your spot. Like, you need to. I was like, huh? I'd be like, what's he talking about? Like, what's this person? What do you mean by that? Anyway, then it became. I remember at one point I was just depressed, bro. I was down, and I made that I made a Hotline Bling parody video.
I remember that. Yeah, you used to call me on my brick phone.
Yeah. And I remember, like, bro, I hated that brick phone. I hated filming it.
Yeah,
I was bare down, like depressed. But I was like, let me just put this. Fuck it, like, whatever. Depressed, bro.
That's mad. You didn't come across like that. You did well.
I'm seeing like videos getting me like whatever. I remember you were like, oh, bruv, it's got 100k already. I was like, cool, that's nice. Like, and then afterwards I was like, alright, cool, I got some views, and I was like, oh. Do you know what I mean? I didn't even want to do it, but I did it. And obviously no one would know. They'd be like, wow, he's got 1 million views and it's doing so well. But in my reality, my own head, I was really not enjoying it at all. So then I just started questioning everything. I've always been quite questioning. So I just started questioning, like, why do I do this? What is the motive behind it? Do I care too much about the audience? How do I feel in this process? Do I want to be here?
Your moral compass is very strong, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all no one's perfect.
I've definitely made mistakes, and I'm definitely imperfect, and especially in my expressions, I think I've been ludicrous and controversial many times in my life, and that maybe I used to thrive off controversy at one point in my life, because I think that's where you get the reactions when you just say some dumb shit, and you get. I used to love that. I literally, bro.
You used to get a buzz, little thrill.
I was like a troll on Twitter back in the day. Bro. I used to tweet the maddest shit.
Most people were.
I used to like tweet rappers like, I want to see you twerking, like just for banter. I want to see a twerk battle. I remember you had this. You had this early on of tweeting Tim Westwood and saying he was your dad for time. But I used to tweet Tim Westwood. No, Tim Westwood blocked me.
Did he?
Yeah, because I used to always be like, oh,
he did you a favor.
I was like, oh, you're my dad. Like, yo, dad, mum misses you. Like, I've been listening to Bashman. Like, yo, I want to chill with you, dad. Like, I used to proper write. I used to proper be like, yo, Tim. Like, yo,
I remember this.
Come back home. Like, you know, mum's cooking food again. Like, it was. I used to just tweet, and then one day I was blocked.
Food again.
He said he had enough. He had enough.
I used to just.
And they were getting mad retweets and likes.
Yeah, I used to proper like tweeting what is done.
Before likes, it was what was it? Stars.
Stars, yeah.
Stars. Stars. And then they changed it to likes.
I kind of used to like doing that. I remember like tweeting Rochelle from the Saturdays, like, yo, we should go on a date. Like, I think, you know, and she blocked me as well. Just dumb stuff like that. And then
quickly, sorry, speaking of Rochelle on the Saturdays, I don't want to lose it. I was gonna bank it and come back to it, but I want to say it because I'll probably forget. I don't know if you lot saw, there was like a big thing on social media. I just want to quickly get your thoughts on this.
Well, recently?
Of Rochelle Humes. Basically, Marvin Humes, as we all know, Heart Won't Beat Again, JLS man.
Shout out JLS.
Shout out JLS. Came out basically and said that Rochelle Humes earns more than him, and he's happy with that.
Nothing wrong with
he's
that.
Like empowering it. But there's been like big debates on social media about it, on the gossip
about
pages.
What? Saying what?
Saying like basically the men have been in there being toxic, basically saying, he's not a real man.
Really?
This, that. Yeah. And then there's women obviously applauding him, saying, you know, I just found it interesting. Like, why are we still even?
Who cares?
Why are there debates
Why did
things?
he even say that?
I don't know if he was asked. I don't know if he was asked because I just saw, you know, when they just quote what he said. So maybe he was asked. Maybe it was an interview. I don't know. I don't know if he just offered the information. But I just found it intriguing to see that people still.
That's still a thing.
Get rubbed up by these things.
Yeah.
Like, why? If you're with your partner and you love your partner. By the way, they're married and have children.
So it's their money.
It's their money. Like, who cares if she? Cool. If my wife wants to go out and earn more than me and we're married, do your thing. Like, I'm
Couldn't
not.
care less, to be honest.
Until it becomes Dr. Dre and she wants to take $2 million a month.
You saying and it gets to that level?
$2 million a month
Wait, what do you mean though? In what aspect?
for child support. I'm not child support. Like living maintenance. So they're in a divorce battle, Dr. Dre and his wife.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And she said in the court records that she wants $2 million a month to maintain her lifestyle.
How do you justify that?
$2 million a month.
$2 million a month.
How do you justify that?
I mean, what lifestyle are you living for $2 million a month?
That's excessive. But maybe it's what she's used to, what he's been, providing so far. So she has the right to do that. But that sounds a bit excessive to me.
Boy,
couple grand is enough.
Exactly. Shout out to Rochelle Humes. Shout out to Marvin Humes. And shout out to everyone that wants to argue about that. Yeah. Do you know what? It's interesting because one thing I'm trying to do now personally for myself, is try not to generalize as much. Because I've realized I get older. Everything is so contextual. Every single interaction is contextual. So for instance, like we're talking about equal pay, for example, right? I don't know, like if you take sports, it was announced this week that the Lionesses are going to be paid the same as the senior team. I think that's amazing. Cool, do that.
Sick.
But then because I saw someone making an argument saying that, and I think this was on Twitter, that because there's been an argument for the same happening in tennis. And then someone made an argument, but the men play more sets. They play best out of three.
But even Serena Williams said that it's a different sport.
Yeah, exactly. So then that's why it needs to be contextual. Do you know what I mean? Whatever it happens to be, whether it's sport or whatever it happens to be, everything needs to be treated. And I'm not even just talking about equal pay now. I'm just talking about in life. I tend to generalize things a lot and go, majority of people do this. But then I'm like, how can that be the world when this is a specific interaction? Everything. So I'm trying to stop the...
That's what I think we need, like desperately more in this world, especially the world how it is now. I think we definitely need a lot more nuance.
It's hard to have conversations
though. Gray areas, and
without having the actual context details of things, then it restricts your conversation.
It comes to like,
also it's hard now to have a point of view. As in, like, let's just say, for example, you believed in equal pay. But then you kind of like, for the reasons you just said, like, it might have been because X, Y, Z. If you then articulate that, then you kind of look like you don't agree with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So people don't even have their own opinions anymore. They're just saying, it's true. Let's just
follow the consensus.
I think that everybody should be paid according to their
same
skill. Like if the man and the woman have the same skill and
they should be getting paid the same.
She should get paid more. Like that's so logical. Do you know what I mean? Like if someone's good, you pay them regardless of whoever they are. But
what did I pause you on again? Because you said Rochelle Humes and I took it to Rochelle.
We were just talking about.
Why was you talking about Rochelle Humes?
She blocked you.
Oh, she blocked you.
She blocked me and that's mad. I felt like, you know how like I felt like I had that Alhan energy back then.
Yes,
I was very much
early
more like
Alhan
that
energy,
and like rebellious. And
I think Alhan even calls Tim West with his dad now. So.
Yeah, he does now. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Does he?
Yeah,
I think I've seen him do it.
He says like dad. Yeah,
what's up, Finn?
He's almost like taking over that mantelpiece, which is cool. But I don't know, man. I've obviously developed and changed as a person, and sometimes I get these like silly ideas, like that's funny, but I just don't care for the attention now. I'm not.
Is that where you're at?
Yeah, I just don't care for the attention. So I'm like,
So what's the future hold then? Do you
don't know. It's very, very up in the open right now.
Is it? You're just literally going with the wind?
A little bit. I mean, obviously you've got the channel with Poet. It's going quite well. I do want to continue that. The audience there is so loyal and so...
that audience is loyal.
It's not huge. It's like 100k subs. It's got... But obviously the comments on the show we do huge.
And it's mad.
I mean, it's a sizable audience, and they're very positive there, and I love like the feedback we get in the comments. There's just it's like the people that have followed us on our journey from Copa 90.
Who would you say, if you, and I know I just said we're not generalizing.
Yeah, go on.
But who would you say that demographic is? Like, how would you summarize them? If you could draw them as a person, the majority of them.
What, on the Poet and Vuj channel?
Yeah, on the Poet and Vuj channel. Who would you say that individual is?
I think they're just a young person, probably between the ages of 18 to 25.
Yeah.
Who is quite I'd say they're not bastards. I think they're just enjoying their life.
Yeah.
And I think they consume content quite regularly.
Are they very different from the Filthy Fellas audience? Do you think?
I would say a little bit.
Cross-pollinate?
I think it cross-pollinates a little bit for sure.
Okay.
I think Filthy enjoys the debate more, and it might be a bit more of an audience which, it likes to debate points and who's right, who's wrong, and taking joy in that sort of confrontational maybe attitude, and I don't know. I don't want to say controversial, but something more exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I think the Poet and Vuj audience is a little bit more humor.
Okay.
But like silly humor and just like absurd things. I think it's more like a niche audience. So I think, I mean, I'm quite a niche guy, so
definitely.
I think that represents in the audience. Obviously, Poet's his own guy as well.
Yeah.
And I think it mixes quite well.
Poet's like a niche guy now as well.
Yeah, he's a niche guy as well.
Extent, his fashion and the way he maneuvers now is more niche. Definitely.
So,
I'm going to ask you, how comes you don't do Filthy as much then, would you say? Because for me, obviously, I stopped like Premier League. and all of that,
I think Filthy's like, I think the way Filthy's going now, I think is really, really good. I think they've got the right characters in. I think the chemistry now seems to really be hitting off, and obviously the engagement they're getting is incredible. For me, I just don't argue about football, and I struggle to put it on.
You don't argue anyway, really. I don't think I've ever even seen. I could never even imagine you having an argument like in a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that. My passion for football isn't
from that place,
that perspective.
Yeah,
I don't care in that way about football. I prefer like stories about football. I prefer like underdogs. I prefer like, oh, this Chinese team has done this, or like, do you know what I mean? I prefer the game of football.
I get you.
So I'm not much, because when I joined Filthy Fellas, I was like a Liverpool fan through and through. Going to games, like, but I always sort of look at it contextually. I always look at it like, well, how was my life back then? And I had a lot of stresses.
Yeah.
So my escape was football and being loud and brash, and how could I fuck
quintessential
this guy.
football fan base.
Hooligan fan.
Yeah.
Almost like I was inspired by hooligans.
Yeah.
And then
and you have a lot of those in your other
Serbia.
team, which is like Red Star Belgrade. And
Red Star Belgrade.
They're very powerful.
There's the ultras culture. So I come from a different fan culture as well, so we are much more aggressive, and it's a lot more colour and chants and songs and being loud, and naturally, obviously, I took that over here and did that with Liverpool and supporting Liverpool. But as I've kind of evolved, I just don't take, for myself, I just can't argue, and I can't, even though I know it's like a debate, it's not even like they're arguing, they're just debating. I don't care enough about the game and the teams to debate
to get into what.
Do you know what I mean? I'm just more like, oh yeah, that shit happened, that happened. Oh yeah, no, he's a bit better. But if someone wants to be like, no, I'd be like, yeah, man, cool. I just can't, you know.
After a while, it's just like, not even a while. After like 2 minutes, like, oh, yeah, okay, cool.
I just can't be bothered.
You win.
Right.
But obviously, everyone's got like different ways how they. Naturally, football is like a tribal sport, and
of course.
So one team against the other, you're going up against each other. Who's better? There's a lot of competition, and I think Filthy Fellas really embodies that.
Yeah, I mean, Filthy Fellas literally embodies what it came off of,
and
which was the
Filthy Fellas.
Yeah, it came off the WhatsApp group like originally, and I think that's what happens.
It is sick.
I think that's what happens in the majority of Mandem's WhatsApp groups. It's kind of
like
just back and forth arguments on football. Do you know what I mean? Like ego getting involved a bit. Like you don't know more than me, or no, I can tell you why Aguero's better than Suarez, or vice versa. Do you know what I mean? It always goes back and forth.
And I was never really that guy, because I was always like into characters and stuff.
Even when you came on, you never really came into Filthy Fellas in that way. Yours was always more just
outlandish.
Jokes and just,
outlandish. Yeah. And I feel like I'm not as outlandish now in my life, innit? So I just don't really, even in my own personal stuff, I just don't really enjoy being that outlandish. Even like the other day, like I put a video up of me like coming from when I was on the beach, and I was like walking, and then like I was like shaking my ass cheeks or something. Do you know what I mean? Like just some dumb. And I remember like
I saw that.
It was funny, like to me at the moment, and like a day later, I looked at it and I was like, this is a bit dead, you know.
He was on his Hasselhoff vibe.
Yeah, I was like,
he was on your Baywatch vibe, bro.
I was obviously, I don't know. I looked at it and I was like, I don't even want this to be on my page, you know.
So at the time you felt it, but then afterwards,
I felt it, and I was like, yeah, it's funny.
Where does that come from? Because we all have that. I get that. Bruv. Everyone gets that.
Yeah,
you might post something and think it's, you know, the littest or sickest thing at that time.
Don't get me wrong, it got attention. It got like 40,000 views, 400 comments, and I was like, so I've got 40,000 views, 400 comments for like basically being topless in Speedos and shaking my bum. Yeah. And then I was like,
felt like Kim K for a moment.
Yeah, then I was like, obviously it's taking the mick and like just sort of, it's quite ludicrous, and I quite like ludicrous humor, but I kind of self-reflected, and I was just,
is that not where you're at?
I just don't really want this on my page. And then took it off, and that was it. Like, do you know what I mean? And I feel cool that I took it off. I don't really care.
People get to see it for a moment.
Yeah, just do it for a moment. That's like, I look at things like that these days as well. I'm like, if I want to delete something or take it off, it's cool. It's like,
it's cool. It's
someone saw
exactly,
it was out
someone
there,
enjoyed it,
not anymore, and that's cool.
And if they wanted to enjoy it, they should have recorded it.
Yeah, I like
It's
that.
a mad one.
Let me talk to you lot about this, man.
What,
you
the
lot on the
hair?
same vibe, with this. Because obviously when I'm watching your old videos, level 1,
Level 1.
obviously out here daggering. Now it's
Level
like
one,
you're both kind of similar now, like in the sense that like you both walk around in them kind of Jesus sandal things. He walks around in them as well.
Oh, Birkenstocks.
I've been rocking Birks for a while though.
Yeah, time.
And Wallabies.
Yeah.
I know Wallabies are in now, but obviously,
Clarks,
Wallabies are a classic.
Yeah,
shoe,
classic.
But we see
but now
Sterling
they've become a
modelling
bit
them
hyped.
and
They've
Sterling's
become a
got
bit-
collab
babe
now,
collabs
hasn't
and
he?
all this. Both growing out the hair. What's the growing out the hair
I
thing
love
about
it,
now?
bro. You wanna go first?
Nah, you can go.
For me,
I kind of know why he's growing it. He spoke about it.
For me, it's like quite psychological. Maybe I overly analyze and I can be too much in my thoughts and overthink. But I realized at one point I was getting a trim every 2-3 weeks, and not even on the financial level. Shout out to Elvis, my Dominican barber in Elephant Castle. Shout out to Champs, all Colombians. The Latins kill it.
Is he the one that used to be in Champs?
Yeah, he used to be in Champs, and
you followed
he's
him?
opened his new place now.
Oh, is
He's
it?
got his own place.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I followed him, and sometimes I go Champs as well, and I was like, guys, look.
He's living the dream. He's literally like Tony Montana. I know he's Cuban.
I cheat on my barbering. I used to cheat, but I told them all. I was like, look, it's an open relationship. I go to your yard, we're going here, just so you guys all know it's love, innit? I love you all. Cool. But then recently, over lockdown, I was like, wait. And I clocked, like, when I get a trim, I feel good, innit? There's obviously something happens where I'm like, I feel more confident and good. And obviously, 2 weeks later, I'm like, it's not looking as good. I'm obviously very self-conscious then. That means I'm self-conscious of my image too much.
Yeah.
And over lockdown, I obviously stopped caring. And I was like, I'm just going to grow my hair. The kind of weird, awkward stage has kind of passed. It still gets a bit weird when you wash it. But I was like, wait, why am I getting a trim? And then I just realized I don't need to get a trim. And then that was it. And now I'm like, I don't want a trim. I want to keep growing it. Yeah. But I think it was about getting over that period of, because, how much of what we do is for us and how much of what we do is for the world.
Yeah.
True.
So I've been in those sort of thoughts, and I realized I think I was doing a lot of it.
Is it going to turn into
fit in?
Is it going to turn into a ponytail?
It might be a ponytail. Eventually, it might be, yeah. But it seems to be flit, like it curls out, innit? So
yeah, it is.
I think lockdown changed a lot. I think lockdown showed me a lot. So that was one of the things in lockdown where I feel actually a lot more at peace now, as lockdown has finished, and just growing my hair and just not being as focused on things which I feel were done to fit in and to feel a part of, the crowd. And when you get a fade, you feel pain, and you're like, I feel kind of, But for who?
It's the feeling, bro. I get it.
I don't think it's wrong.
Yeah. But you're questioning it on a deep level, like, what is it? What is it about? What is this purpose of?
Yeah,
I hear you.
And now when I wake up, it's a bit mad, and I just like put it to the side or whatever, and I'm like, cool, we get out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you was never on the path to like veneers or?
Brother, never. My teeth are crooked out here. The bottom's
I could see mine. I think I might do veneers.
Really?
Really?
I'm joking. I wouldn't do veneers. I wouldn't do veneers. I wouldn't do veneers. I'll do Invisalign.
That's what I was thinking, Invisalign. But I don't know if I could have my teeth.
Invisalign, but I saw it was like grand. I was like, nah, I'm just going crooked.
You could get it for free. You could get it for free. Promo. Influencing, man. Come on.
Nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
You don't want to do the influencer?
No, wait, you're trim. You did the same reasons or?
Kind of. Well, I've been, because I used to have dreads and stuff. So, and I cut my hair, and similar reasons. I thought, let me just switch it up and feel fresh. And then I was like, nah, I can't.
And you feel good now?
Me, yeah. And then I think lockdown.
So what, you're growing it back again then? The dreads?
I'm not going to go back, but this kind of levels just suits me right now.
Yeah.
Suits me.
I feel more like myself. It's mad.
Yeah.
I can actually feel more comfortable in myself like this.
Well, people say that and this is just a theory, that when you grow your hair, you feel more, like you're more in touch. I think it was Black the Ripper saying that. Yeah, Black the Ripper. Shout out to Black, man.
Shout out to Black.
Black the Ripper, I remember him saying on a podcast, Straight No Chaser, that he feels like his hair being grown, he'll never cut it because he feels like your hair's supposed to grow. Like we're not supposed to cut it, like from obviously centuries ago. And he's saying that like he feels just more in tune with the vibrations. Like his hair's where his strength is. Like he absorbs the environment.
And I think that's a Rastafarian way of life as well.
Yeah.
I think they say it's like I don't know what. I think it's a similar reasoning.
That's why he called himself Samson as well, isn't it? Because Samson had the power in his hair, the character. Yeah. It's interesting, man. Like I'm not gonna lie. During lockdown, when I grew my hair,
you had the plaits and you tapped out.
I got the plaits.
It looked good though, man. It looked good.
I know. But you know, it was like my type of hair. The plaits just kept coming out too easy. Like, it was long to maintain. And then once I started doing more commercial stuff,
You feel you had
BBC and that, I just didn't feel fresh, innit? I'm over here looking at bloody Jermaine Genius, and he has a fade every 5 days.
But that's mad, isn't it?
Barber coming to the yard.
When you're on camera, I think you're naturally going to be more self-conscious.
100%.
And that's not always a good thing.
Yeah.
And you can become too image focused.
Which the generation is now.
Which it is. And I mean,
generalizing again, but
It's true,
I myself
though, it
am
is.
in that world. And I've seen its effects on who I am. Maybe my life. But I remember I was in Serbia for a month now. And I bought like a suitcase. I ended up wearing like 2 pairs of shorts, 3 t-shirts for a month. I bought more, but because it's just a different culture over there, I didn't find myself like putting different clothes on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I felt happier, like because I'm not thinking about what I'm wearing. I know people don't really care as much over there about what you're wearing. It's more comfortable to be in whatever. I'm kind of like that here as well, but there I just I did that for a month. Obviously, my hair was growing, connecting back to where I'm from, and yeah, bruv, it just felt different, bruv. And I think life is changing in general these days, especially now with lockdown. I think we're all realizing on a deeper level what's important in life, and I think that's what I've been processing over the past few years. And that's why there hasn't been as many videos, but I've been doing a lot of feeling and seeing and working out and going through certain struggles to just see what is it that's important to me. So because I've been questioning a lot of those
playing
things.
basketball
Playing bro,
in Albania.
I went to Albania. I was playing basketball literally every day in lockdown.
Nice.
Been playing a lot more football. I still smoke my cigarettes. So that's one thing I can cut out. But I feel when you start doing those things which I really enjoy, I feel happier in it. And
Like
it's mad.
that.
Like I'm saying, it's not as
That's the most important thing, though, bro.
it's not as focused on my work. It's not as focused on like what I put out. Whereas I think before I was living a life which it's unstable because it's too dependent on what I put out.
Yeah.
So I wanted to just ground myself a bit more.
Your job
so
felt
I still
like-
might, don't get me wrong, I still might end up doing comedy and put shit out, whatever, but I'm just enjoying that.
Yeah,
sort of
you don't
no
put a time
pressure
on it. Yeah, no
vibe.
pressure, no
And that's
restrictions.
what Have a Nice is about, as you know. Have a Nice, my little
CEO, the Have a Nice CEO.
merchandise and just a saying that I live by is Have a Nice.
I was gonna come to that. Like,
Yeah,
how
that's mad.
have you found being in the clothing game and
I
the
love
merch
it. I
game
love
and selling
merchandise.
stuff?
It is just merchandise at the moment. It's nothing insane. Shout out to Gildan. Shout
out to Gildan. The t-shirt makers, isn't it? Gildan.
Make everyone's
Oh
shirt.
yeah, okay.
Through the loom.
Kanye's
Yeah.
Gildan as well.
Is he?
Yeah, I remember someone posted
Okay.
a box and it was
Gildan's
Gildan.
getting that
Is it?
bag.
Yeah, it's mad, but Gildan's crazy. Like one of the biggest t-shirt producers.
Didn't it used to be Through the Loom though?
Through the Loom was the
used to
bigger
be the
one.
one.
Yeah, I remember
I
Through
think
the
Loom.
Gildan
Over them.
but Gildan's got a
killed
few
them.
different. That's what I enjoy. It's like
Shout out to Alibaba as well.
Alibaba,
Talked
Alibaba,
about barbers, but let's shout out Alibaba.
China and that. Wuhan and that, yeah, come on.
Trust me, Wuhan, all of that.
Wuhan clan.
Say Wuhan.
Nah, I just that's what I enjoy. Like I kind of enjoy the back end as well.
Yeah.
Because with my parodies as well, back in the day, like I do the producing. I'd get the props. I'd write the script. I enjoy the process. So that's what I think I like about merchandise and stuff. You're learning about different things. You're learning about clothes. You're learning about cost. You're learning
You need
about
to teach us,
profit,
bro. We're trying to get some double
margin.
down.
Yeah, for sure. You're
merch
learning about
going.
margins. Just, it's very, very interesting. Obviously now environmentally friendly stuff. It's like what pays off more, etc. So I really enjoy it, man. And this is what I mean about organic and inspiration. Have a Nice came from a Polish man on a train. He was drunk, I think. He was patting a woman's dog, beer in hand, and she walked off the train. And he was like, "Oh, what is this dog? Oh, this is nice dog." And she was like, "Oh, like it's a Dalmatian, like whatever." And he's like, "Oh, nice dog," And then a woman walks off the train, and he just went, "Have a nice."
Literally.
And me and
What?
Poet were like, "What? Have a nice what?"
Have a nice.
And I just started dying. We were like, "Have a nice what? This guy's killed it." So we'd be going and obviously we do like interviews on Copa night. Yeah, at the end of every interview, I've got like everyone saying "Have a nice." Every baller. I need to do a video of that, but everyone's like "Have a nice." I was like, let me put it on the t-shirt. Have a nice. It's like a statement. No one fucking knows what it is. And then I did a bit of that, and people love it, bruv. So
took off.
that was something about organic and like
So
none of
organic.
it was planned.
Yeah.
If I wasn't on that train, so I think I take a lot
It's
from
meant
my
to be.
environment.
Yeah.
And if my environment isn't feeding me, I'm like, I need to just get in an environment which will make me feel like putting stuff out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So.